Hey, it's Rex here from Lotus 7 New Zealand and 4AGE New Zealand. Here's how a fuel sender works. It's a floating device. This black float here sits on top of the fuel and rises and falls like that. On the dash, you can see it's falling and rising like that. Pretty simple device. On the dash, it's just more voltage equals rising to the top, less voltage equals falling to the bottom. Now the voltage works like this. It gets power to here, and what happens is the more this rises, the more it allows voltage through, because the coil of wire goes from here to here in that direction, right? So when the end of that steel bar there is here touching the variable resistor, the resistance is very low because the coil is very short. Hence the voltage travels easily to the gauge and raises the gauge to the top. When you come to an empty tank of gas, the sender is up here now, and the resistance going up the outside of this gauge on the wound core of wire is now a higher resistance. That means higher resistance, less voltage going to the gauge. I want to talk about one more thing that I solved. I solved this about 2 years ago. Notice that I'm running a nice big circle Toyota fuel pump holder. The pump's all on it, the return line's all on it. Well, what I did was I went to a friend who's a machinist and I said, I want you to make up a 2.5 centimeter block of steel that I can weld to the top of my tank, and I want you to pre-thread all the drillings to match the Toyota setup. So he brought it back to me. It's been perfect. I got it welded into the top of my tank. You know, I put it off because I had to take the whole roll cage off the whole car to get to it. But you know what? Ever since I welded that big hunk of steel onto the top of my tank and had it all pre-drilled, I never had another fuel leak. So sometimes it's good to take the time and really nail out a problem good and proper on a home-built car so it doesn't just keep coming back. So, and the reason this happened to me about the fuel gauge was the kids bought it for me for Christmas. You know, they bought me this setup and the gauge, but I put it this way in the tank towards the front of the car, but not realizing that the front of the tank going up and down here was actually going to jam and obstruct the float from going up and down. So now I took it from there and I pushed it out west. It's going out to the side of the tank, and there's about 3 inches out there before the baffle is there, you know, to obstruct it. So I think when I put it in this time, I'm going to get a fuel gauge that works and not a float that's obstructed and staying between 0 and 1/4. Been fun to work it out. I hope you enjoy this video.